Hey guys! So I stopped vlogging halfway through my student teaching experience. It is now the January 18th and I am sitting down to finish my vlogs. So things just got really crazy and I was exhausted all the time, so I just stopped vlogging, but I do want to finish them for you. So today's video is going to, that was weird. Today's video is going to be about the reorientation that I had with my students. The information that I'm going to be talking about and the idea where I got this, the place where I got this idea from was a podcast. It's called the Cult of Pedagogy podcast, and it's by Jennifer Gonzalez, and I will link it down below as well as the episodes if I'm able to. But in case I'm not able to link them, I'm specifically referencing episodes 48 and 80. It's talking about how to get your students to stop talking and like the policies to put in place. So the reorientation, my classes just were getting off track, and I really just wanted to bring everybody back to center and specifically try to get my students to stop talking when I was talking. Most of my classes, like you've heard in my vlogs, I didn't have a problem with. I had one class that I just could not get to stop talking. So this was like driven by them, but all of my classes needed to hear this and we all needed to like go through this. So what I did was I had a PowerPoint presentation going at the beginning just to keep me on track and let the students know what was going on. And the first part of it was getting reacquainted with the classroom. So like, where's the clock? How do you tell what time it is? Or what's the date? Where's the absent bin? Things like that, because they would interrupt me in the middle of class and be like, Ms. Butler, what time is it? And then the second part of the presentation was about things that I wanted to implement. And I will tell you right now, I tried to implement way too many things. Okay, 5 things that I wanted to implement. Opening activities, daily participation points, late work policy, due dates were going to be put on the agenda, and talking levels were going to be displayed on the agenda as well. It was too much. It might not sound like it, but it was too much. So opening activities, my mentor teacher was telling me that that would be something she would like to see me do, was start doing daily opening activities for the kids, just to have something for them to start working on before the bell and something to get their attention, like to get them working before class started. That was something that I was doing because my teacher wanted me to do. Now, I will tell you, I was really bad about having opening activities, and that is something that I definitely want to work on because I think it really is important in the classroom. So, starting that, daily participation points, I gave the kids 30 points per week just for participation, 10 points a class. And as long as you were on task and as long as you weren't misbehaving, you got 30 points. So there was that. That went fine. I was able to keep up with it for the most part, but some days it really just turned into me going like, okay, everybody gets 10 points. So it wasn't like crazy, not fair, but like, I don't know. I wasn't really like strict about giving the points. If you got attention, 0 points. That was easy. But like the thing behind this was like, if you were talking, I would take away a point. If you were misbehaving in class, I would take away a point. So it was supposed to be like this driving thing for the kids' behavior, but I never used it like that. Late work policy, this was way too strict, and I will tell you, I never ended up using this. So the late work policy was that all work would be accepted through the end of the block. Like if I said, this is due at the end of the block, it has to be turned in. As soon as that bell rang, it was late because I needed that hard deadline. If it was turned in after the bell, it was automatically 10% off. If it was turned in 1 week late, 30% off, and 2 weeks or more late was 50% off. It was impossible for me to follow this, and honestly, whenever I get my classroom, as long as the school allows it, I would rather do a no late work policy and just have like, if it's late, I'm not taking it, and you get a 0 for it. However, if I teach at the school that I student taught at, I wouldn't be allowed to do that because a lot of students would fail. So I would not be able to do a no late work policy. Due dates on the daily agenda and talking levels on the agenda, I did keep up with until our smart board burned out. I had a poster and a magnetic arrow, and I moved the arrow according to where I wanted their talking levels to be, and it was also posted on the smart board. So they knew when they came into class, when they saw that daily agenda, that they were going to be writing a journal, we were going to have a discussion about the book, and then they were going to be I don't know, silent reading. And the talking levels would be there. So while you're writing your journal, it is completely silent, but you may listen to music or something like that. while we're having a discussion, you can be at a level 2. Like your group should hear you, but I should not hear you across the room. And then when we're silently reading, you should be silent again. And I told them this was so that they all knew my expectation of them and what I expected of them, and I also knew what I expected of them, and I had these hard lines to say, like, I can hear you across the room, you're too loud. And it wasn't just this arbitrary, like, oh, but you're too loud because I said so, you know? The talking level chart worked okay. I like having a visual and like strict hard lines for where the levels should be. I just think either I need more time with it or the students just didn't really connect with it. I'm not sure. And then the due dates on the agenda, I think I did pretty well at doing this, and I do like doing that because it kept me straight and it kept things more organized. But once that smartboard blew out, I kind of just stopped doing it because I ran out of room like on our board. But I really did like doing that, and I think the kids appreciated it too because they could see like, well, when is this due? Because that was something I was really bad at, was like telling them specifically when things were going to be due. After I got done telling them what I expected, I took a note from the podcast and I modeled exactly what I wanted the kids to do. One of the examples is I took the whole first row of desks and I turned them around, and I had students, well, first I modeled for the students, like, this is what silent journal writing looks like. And I had a journal in front of me, I had a pencil, and for, I don't know, 30 seconds, I modeled what silent writing looked like. So I sat in the desk that the students would sit at, facing them so they could see me, and I started. And I was writing silently, and once I was done, I closed my book, and I sat there with my hands on my desk, and I just looked around, looked at the board, checked the assignment board. Like, I just did things that I would expect them to do. Like, you don't have to, like, be working the whole time, but you can't be talking. And I showed them exactly what I wanted from them. I also showed them how to come into the room, and I think that was it, just the two. But I showed them like what silence looks like, because the podcast says sometimes students don't know, as crazy as it sounds, they don't know what silence looks like. And then after I modeled, I had them also do it. So I'd have a group come up to the front row, they would face the classroom, and everybody would model silence for 30 seconds. The whole class was actively like doing it the whole time, but then they could see their peers doing it also. It sounds kind of cheesy and campy, but like, I was just trying whatever I could. And I mean, it was like them moving around, them interacting, and it seemed to go pretty well. At the very end of the lesson, I opened it as like kind of a town hall thing almost, but just a back and forth, like, okay, what are some rules that you have seen in other classrooms or you think would work in this classroom, like to help class run more smoothly. So I told them, I just want your ideas, and I had them write them down on a piece of paper. I gave them 5 minutes and had them write down their rules. I collected the papers, and then over the next couple of days I read all the rules that each class had come up with and narrowed them down to what they all had in common. Each class actually came up with the same exact rules. Different wording or different order or whatever, but same exact rules. So the rules, there were 3 of them. Be respectful, be ready for class, and stay on task. Like, that's what all of them came down to. I had one class who every single student, just about every single student, wrote something that I needed to do or I needed to change. So it was things like, don't give out homework, let us listen to music more, don't lecture so much. And I went back to them and I was like, okay, so I get this, I hear you, but I have no rules for what you are going to do. And I was like, I need rules, specifically things that you can do now. I hear what you want me to do, but I need stuff for you guys to do. So I thought that was really interesting that like everything fell on me. The second time around they did pretty well, and they got those 3 rules. This was nice for me because I got to hear what the students wanted also without them feeling scared to speak up in class. So that was really nice. And overwhelmingly, the big thing that everybody wanted was to be able to listen to music more. And I knew that, and I just wasn't like letting them do it as much as they wanted, I don't know, I wasn't doing it a lot. I wasn't letting them listen to music while they worked a lot. So a lot of times whenever they were doing something silently, I would let them listen to music. So if we have a journal entry and they're silently writing, there's no talking, but you can listen to music if you have headphones. So it gave them things that they wanted while also giving me something that I wanted, which was silent work for those people who needed it. So all in all, this was really a good thing, and I feel good that I did it. It worked wonders for my class. And it really got us recentered. However, I see things that I can definitely change in the future. So like not implementing so many different things, and also like so many strict, hard, scary rules, because I think that's what deep down I was doing, was trying to use some of these things like the late work policy as like a scare tactic, like scare them into doing their work, but clearly that's not gonna work. So I learned from this. It's good. The podcast does talk about doing this the first day of school, so I think that is definitely something I'm gonna do whenever I have my own classroom. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was informative. If you like this video, please give it a like and also subscribe. I've got so many videos coming out. I'm so excited to tell you guys everything that happened. But on that, I think that's all I have for you guys, so I will see you in the next one. Bye!